Hey guys, my name is Parth Gaurav and today I'm going to show you how to create a pop-up in Webflow, both the static pop-up and the dynamic pop-up. So let's get into it right away. So I hope now you can see my screen. So there are two things that I'm going to show you. First is how to create a static pop-up and the second is how to create a dynamic pop-up. So this is one of the sites that I've already created last year, Calm Fund. So on this whole team is connected to the CMS, and when you click on it, a pop-up gets appeared and all the details inside that this pop-up are connected to the CMS. So it's pulling in all the information from the CMS. So let me show you how to create a pop-up. First, you'll drop one div block and name it pop-up wrapper. Pop-up, sorry, yeah, pop-up wrapper, and give it a fixed position. Now next up, give it a z indexed, probably higher than everything else on the site. So let's give it 9999, and then inside it we are going to add another div block which is going to be an overlay. So there is a reason we are adding this. There are two reasons that we are adding this. One is to have some kind of a background color behind that, the whole pop-up content that we are going to have, and the second thing is to trigger a closing, like closing trigger for that. So we are going to name it overlay pop-up, and we are going to give it absolute position, and then we are going to give it a color. Let's say we give it what we should give it. Let's give it a red, this red. Now we are going to start building the actual div block. So we would name it PopUp Card, and on pop-up wrapper as well we are going to give it a horizontal flex so that this pop-up card would get center aligned. Now we are going to add the content. First, as it's a red background, so we are going to give it some kind of a background color which will be white, and let's give it relative positioning so that it's above the overlay pop-up. Now let's start giving it some content and styling, and for this we are going to again use pixels for now. Let's drop heading, one paragraph, and let's drop something else. So we are going to name it pop-up heading, and this lower map some text is fine, and this would be a button which says explore. Let's say this closes this, and now you can see that it's expanding to the edges. So what we need to do for this is give it a max width. Let's say we give it 650 pixels. So this would be enough. And next up we are going to add a close button to it, or we can trigger a close button, a close action from this one as well. And next we are going to add, now our pop-up is built. Now we are going to add both the opening trigger and the closing trigger. So first let's hide this, and then let's add a button here. Let's add it in nicely in a section. Let's give it a center aligned 100 VW height so that it's here, and let's give it open pop-up. Now we are going to trigger this pop-up opening. Click on mouse click, and on first click we are going to open that. So this would be pop-up open. Now we are going to select this, and the first thing that we are going to do is add an initial state which we want to have it as hide, and one more thing we are going to add, like I'll show you after that. So by clicking on pop-up, now we have our pop-up enabled. Now let's make it a little more interesting. So we will add another initial state which is opacity 0, and we are going to change the positioning as well slightly of pop-up card. So we are going to change the initial positioning of this card to 30 pixels, and we are going to duplicate it and add this after this thing, like the whole pop-up wrapper shows. So we are going to move the card to 0 pixels and opacity to 100, and let's make it ease, and this one as well. Let's see how it looks now. See, you can see this movement, right? This. Next up, we are going to add the closing state. So in this pop-up wrapper, we are going to add closing state to two things. First is this button. So we're going to name this explore the site, and give this a mouse click on tap on first click. And for this, we are not going to create this from scratch. We are going to just duplicate it and then click on pop-up open, the duplicated one, and give it pop-up close, and delete the rest of the ones. Select all of them, unselect the select as initial state, and then first you need to show some interaction as well on the exit of the pop-up as well. And one thing you need to keep in mind is whenever you are creating an exit interaction or a close interaction, just keep the duration a little short. So I've kept it 0.2 seconds, and for this I will add this after the first thing is done, or we can probably add a delay as well of 0.15 seconds. Let's see how it plays. Open pop-up. Yeah, it looks nice now, and we're going to add this trigger to this overlay pop-up as well. See, it works. So this is how you create your pop-up. Now let me show you how to create a dynamic pop-up. So first let's create a CMS collection. So let's say we create for team members. So we create a collection for team members, and let's add 5 items. Now 5 items are added. Now we are going to drop a collection here. Here's a CMS collection. Let's set it to auto now for now. We're going to give it team collection list wrapper, and inside it team collection list and team collection item. Let's add some information to it now. Let's create a card. So we are going to create a card of this only. Let's give it a black color. First, one thing we forgot is to connect that to a proper CMS collection. Now we are going to make it horizontally aligned, and let's give it a wrap and 30 pixels of width. Now let's create a card of team members. Now we are going to drop an image, a heading, and one paragraph as well. And let's give it a width of let's see, 30%, and center aligned. Now this looks better, and let's give it white color. Right now I've given it to the whole, like the text color to the whole collection, because that's what we need. And if we click on it, just connect these items, name, let's say this is the bio summary, and this is the profile picture. And let's give some dimensions as well to these. What should we give? See, 250 and 250, and make it cover. This looks fine. Team image. Now let's center align it. Now we have our basic card ready for the team members. Now we are going to add our pop-up. So let's for now just drag, copy and paste this pop-up and drag this inside it. Now we have this hidden. Now what we are going to do is also add a button as well, which will trigger opening of the pop-up. Or we can just duplicate this and add it here and say explore bio, and the trigger is already created. Now we can link these to probably name, and then we can add a rich text as well for the bio. I think that's what we need, and there's the closing trigger as well. And let's add this to another page so that this thing doesn't get triggered. Create a page, static pop-up, and we are going to paste this here. Now let's see if it works. Yeah, it works. I think the text color is a bit of an issue. Let me see. Yeah, I think text color is an issue. So for this, I guess, let me just remove the color from here and add text color white class. Now it should look perfect. And let's rename this as well. Close. Yeah, I think it works perfectly, and you can hide this so that you can better manage your site. And yeah, this is how you create the pop-up. Let's see if this is we need to make it responsive as well. So for tab we are going to add 50% or 45% width, and for the mobile we are going to add 100% width and some padding on left and right. I think this looks good. Let's see how the pop-up looks on the mobile. It looks good. So for mobile and like tab, not tab, for mobile devices we would need to create some kind of scroll feature as well, because on mobile we have like less vertical space. So let's say the team member which has a long bio, this would get like block the content, or it would go past the overall screen. So you need to define some kind of height to it and scroll feature as well. First let's add some padding on the tab so that it doesn't align to the edges, and then we are going to add another element inside it and add these here, and we are going to name this, let's name them, give it a class from desktop only, pop-up inner wrap, and let's give it the whole pop-up card a height of, let's say 450 pixels. We are going to give overflow auto to it, so it will introduce a scroll bar. Now this would look perfectly on all devices. So yeah, this was all about how to create a static pop-up as well as a dynamic pop-up. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below, and I will also put this as a clonable, put this whole project as a clonable, so that you can just get started by cloning it on your client site. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, and do like it, share it with your friends or other Webflowers, so that they might find it valuable and they can use this whole project in their client sites. And subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thank you.